our community, our hometown. This is Kearney Live, presented by 102.7 FM and KMO-TV. Kearney Live is a close-up look at the people, places, and events that matter to you. And now, here are the hosts of Kearney Live, Mike Davis and Jim Dickerson.
Wow, there's that live studio audience. Welcome to Kearney Live. It is the most important show on the planet. But if you live in, it is. If you live in Kearney, Missouri, I hope everybody in Kearney is listening to this. By the way, we have over 20,000 reached on our Facebook page alone. Wow. So, folks around businesses around Kearney, if you are looking to reach the people in Kearney, Missouri, on 102.7 FM and our digital other channels like KMO-TV, right, Jim?
That is correct. And the 20,000 is per month. It's not like total ever whatever. It's 20,000 or it's every 28 days or whatever it is.
That is not even including the reach that we get on our website and other social media platforms. So in addition to
we're doing about 140,000 per month per 28-day cycle with all our platforms combined. So for a town of 10,000, not bad.
Right.
Not bad.
And we have the we can prove it from our analytics on Facebook and definitely on our website. Although you wonder where we see these people listen all over the world. We're not kidding. And by the way, you can listen to us on MyTuner, the MyTuner app, or any of dozens of other radio apps. Just search 102.7 or search KPGZ, and that'll get you there. And you can listen to us in your car, anywhere. Hook it up to your phone, on your Bluetooth system in your car. Most people have that nowadays. We hear it a lot. People say, well, I get to Liberty and I can't hear your signal. Yes, we are a low-power FM signal, but nonetheless, that shouldn't stop you from listening from anywhere on the planet. But all that to say, yes, go ahead, Jim.
Don't forget that you can also watch on KMO-TV, and you can watch that on Vimeo or the YouTube channel. And if you have Spectrum, it's channel 2003, I think, or something like that. And then just plug in KMO-TV, and you're off to the races. If you have the app, you can do Vimeo, and you can look at KMO-TV. Now, I will be 100% honest, the Vimeo app is a little bit weird because it doesn't let you – so you can watch KMO-TV on YouTube, and it'll run just like a normal TV station. Vimeo will stop every thing, and you have to re-click to get it started again. Maybe they'll fix that.
Just after the show.
And I think somebody told me we're also on Rumble. Is that
that's true.
Yep.
Yes, we are.
We have some videos on Rumble also. So
we are everywhere.
Yeah, all of that to say, if you, I mentioned this before, and I will continue to do so, if you want to reach the people in Kearney, Missouri, and become a sponsor of 102.7 FM in any capacity, this is the place to do it, absolutely. Through our news, we do daily news, and you can sign up and have it sent to your email. We will not use your email address for anything except to send you daily news stories. And don't forget, we have the Bulldog Radio Network. We cover Kearney sports as best we can. Home games of football, which we're looking forward to. It'll be here before you know it. Yep. Just finished up a terrific basketball season and covered both boys and girls home basketball, and that was a lot of fun, by the way.
And baseball is underway, and I heard the Bulldogs won yesterday.
Woohoo!
In baseball.
Nice.
So, was it yesterday? Yeah, yesterday.
Yes. So a little promotional stuff, but it's important. And by the way, that is my co-host, Jim Dickerson, sitting there to my right, you've been listening to. Yep.
I had to come back because I wasn't here last week, and all you guys did was make fun of me for an hour.
The legend, Jim Dickerson. And you have some other news items there, Jim.
Well, I have a couple of things that I've been told that I'm supposed to talk about, and therefore I will begin. Don't forget, on Saturday, Brian, correct me if I say this wrong, it is the Rails and Trails, which is part of the Clay County 200th birthday. Yes, that's correct. Clay County is 200 years old. And so they've got all sorts of events going on, and that is going to be located at the
Around Jesse James Park, or not Jesse James Park, I'm sorry, but around Lions Park and the old firehouse in downtown.
And my understanding, we were talking about this a little bit before we went on the air. So the rails part is because Clay County used to have a bunch of rails.
Like train, railroad.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Kearney was a depot stop.
What other kind of rail is there?
Well, there's a stair rail for one.
All right, let's keep moving.
Well, he asked. You ask a dumb question, get a dumb answer.
And, okay, well, here comes another dumb
All
one.
right.
So then you have rails and trails.
I thought it was tails.
No, it's tails.
See, I messed it up. Rails and tails, and it's not tails like story tales. It's
like
tails
T-A-L-E-S. It's T-A-I-L-S, like animals.
and the reason for that is, Brian,
They're going to have a petting zoo out there, so yep. Come out and enjoy the live animals out there. That's where the tails come in.
Can you see why Jim and I were both confused by this?
Yes.
are they going to have chickens?
I don't know.
Do the chickens have giant
I was
talons?
gonna
We'll
say,
get to the
do they have large talons?
we'll get to chickens, maybe sloths later on. Jim.
The three-toed sloth.
Yes.
So, rails and yep, this weekend.
Tails and tails. Yeah.
Come on out and see that. It'd be a beautiful thing. Let's talk about something else that I know more about.
Oh, okay.
Well, I know. I'm
But
right there with you, buddy.
Back to the rails and tails. There's a website that you can go look at, and Brian's going to tell you about that right now.
Oh, it's the Carney. It's the.
We sound really knowledgeable here. I got to say that.
It's the old firehouse website, and you can go on there under events. I think there's a tab, and it's the Legends Festival is what it's called.
Kurt's going to send us a strongly worded letter.
Yes,
And
He's not gonna be happy
there's
with us.
music too, right?
Yep, live music, games, petting zoo. What else did I say? Crafts and vendors. I think there's a beer garden out there.
Hello.
All sorts of stuff.
There you have it.
Yeah.
So if you have any questions, you can call over to the firehouse. They'll get you squared away.
There you go.
Call somebody
That's-
who actually
that's-
knows something
That's
about
the
it.
best answer I've heard yet.
So today,
Oh, man.
this is the important part for today because it's today. The job fair is going on. That starts at 2:30, and that is going to be at the United Methodist Church that's out east on 92 Highway. And there are all sorts of businesses. If you're watching on KMO-TV, the screen, there it is, and there's a list coming up here in a minute of all. But there's like 30 employers. There they are.
Actually, there's upwards of 40 now.
40 employers. And so I will say this. For somebody who's looking for a job or even somebody who is thinking about changing jobs, what a beautiful time. Because, I mean, you can, if you've always sat there and thought, I'm doing this, but I'd like to see what's out there. I wish when I was younger and we were looking for jobs, I had the ability to go talk to 40 different people in one place.
Yeah, think about that.
As opposed to
right.
drive all over the place. So anybody who's, excuse me for a second, go to Mike for a second.
Okay.
What happened?
Turn my microphone on.
Oh, my gosh.
You turned mine off.
I turned them both.
Okay, now I'm back. Sorry about that.
That was our cough button.
Yeah, anybody for employees standpoint, anybody's out there. So if you are interested in, I mean, maybe you have a job, but you're thinking about doing something else. What a great time to go out there and learn, all in one place from 2:30 to 6 today out at United Methodist Church out there on 92 Highway. I'm even thinking about going out there just to poke around and see what's going on.
There you go. You can come out and network.
Yep, I'll go out and network.
Okay.
I don't know who I'll talk to exactly. Is there going to be food?
No.
Will there be a petting zoo?
No petting zoos.
All right.
No chickens?
Nope, nothing like that.
Now I'm a little disappointed.
Well, come on out
I wanted
anyway.
to see the large talons.
We're going to talk about some more chickens here. It's on the list. We've got David Lehman with us today. Welcome to the show, David.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Well, we are glad to have you. Thanks for being with us again a couple of years later. And it seems like you were just here. I know this is the way time flies for many of us, for most of us, I think. You are running for Kearney Alderman Ward 2.
That's correct.
And you're the incumbent.
I am.
So is it any harder being the incumbent? You feel like you have to campaign a little harder? Is it easier?
I think it's about the same. I mean, a little different atmosphere. When I ran 2 years ago, there were 3 of us. This time there's just me and the other candidates. So.
All right. Well, let's just get started with these questions. You had a reason to do this once. What are your reasons for doing this a second time? Why do you feel like you want to do this all over again in Ward 2 Alderman?
Sure. Well, my driving motivation for running again is in the last 2 years, we've gotten a lot of things accomplished. We've gotten total renovation of Lions Park. We added a splash pad. The dog park out at Jesse James Park, commonly referred to as Jesse James Park, kind of a clever name. The new interchange. If you've not driven north on I-35 and look to your right, you're starting to see construction going on.
I noticed it, yes.
Yeah. So the groundbreaking on that is actually April 12th. So that'll get into full swing after that. So, the big topic is we just purchased 11 acres at the corner of 19th and 33 for a future pool community center. That hasn't been decided yet, but that's something that the community's been wanting for a long time, and we finally got it accomplished. We've got the use tax. We just passed the use tax, and that's going to help the city immensely. We're going to be able to hire 2 new officers. In fact, we're going into design phase now on a new pickleball area that will have 12 pickleball courts. Surprisingly, that sport has grown.
Isn't that something? Yeah,
it is.
Have you ever played pickleball?
I haven't. It looks like something I would look rather foolish attempting.
Yeah, I feel an injury coming on.
Exactly.
Yeah. Brian, are you a pickleball?
Nope, I haven't played it, but I've seen guys older than you guys out there playing it, and I think you guys will be too
walkers
fine.
and wheelchairs?
No. There's nothing like that out there.
Anyway, sorry.
For some reason, I just picture a Family Guy episode when you say that. I don't know.
I got to be honest. When I first heard of pickleball several years ago, it's probably 7 or 8 years ago, I thought it was the dumbest thing I'd ever heard of. I still don't think I see that. I don't understand.
I know it, and there's this restaurant bar down in North Kansas City.
Yeah, chicken and pickle.
Right, and you're thinking, who comes up with an idea like this that'll never fly? And they are just on fire. I mean, they are killing it down there.
And they put a new one in over in Zona Rosa and all that.
Wow.
So maybe you know, maybe you don't. What's the attraction to pickleball?
Good question.
Where did pickleball get its name?
Well, I don't know where it got its name, but it's a cross between tennis and table tennis. But it's played on a court, and so a lot of the rules are similar to table tennis. But
when you say you're talking ping pong,
yeah, yeah. So
it's a smaller court, what I've come to gather anyway. Yeah,
and you use the big difference between tennis and pickleball is you use a hard racket, and
it looks like a ping pong paddle with a longer handle.
A bigger ping pong paddle, basically. And it's very popular.
Sure is.
So,
Leagues and everything.
Where it came from, who knows? But it's amazing.
There was the ping pong champion for many years. Mm-hmm. I think he still is. Was Forrest Gump?
Oh, brother.
And I just curious if.
And that's all I have to say about that.
That's absolutely correct.
All right, David, we
I've
derailed
that.
your campaign. Well, it was kind of fun.
My work is done.
I know it. So continue. Yes, you were in the middle of mentioning all of these accomplishments. I mean, as I look back in 2021, my goodness, all the things that we got accomplished.
Yeah.
That you helped with.
Absolutely.
Continue, please. Yes.
Part of that use tax, we're going to repair and replace a lot of the sidewalks. We're working on something that several years ago the city was given a area of land at the corner of Prospect and 92, but it had very specific regulations tied to it. And part of this use tax is we're going into the design phase on what's called Hall Park. And Hall Park is a small pocket park type that is for senior citizens. And so that was one of the stipulations on that property, was that it be converted into a senior park. So that's going to come into being. And if you're not driven around town, the wayfinding signs are up, and man, they look great. So people from out of town, if they're trying to get to the amphitheater, now all they have to do is follow the wayfinding signs. So we've gotten a lot accomplished, and there's still more that we want to get accomplished, and so that's my main purpose in running again, was to keep the progress moving forward. So,
well, it's when you mention all of these things together, it's impressive. You because you sort of, as we own a business here, so we sort of see these things. Brian lives here, so you tend to not see things sort of in its totality, because day to day things sort of gradually happen. But when you mention them all at once, it's sort of like spreading photos out on a, like we've got in here in the studio. Brian and I were looking at these studio pictures that we have in here of all the a lot of different guests and shows we have, and I looked at it and thought, my gosh, how long have we been doing this? And so all of a sudden you realize that there is a lot going on. Well, and this will lead me to my next question, which is, how do you feel, what has best prepared you for this position? Well, I think on-the-job training for starters, but what other things do you think would help qualify you for being reelected?
Well, before I served on the Board of Aldermen, I served 9 years as a school board member. So, I've been in the politics side of it, but the other aspect of it is I'm a Kearney native, born and raised here, graduated from Carney High School in 1980. All four of my kids, Amanda, Caitlin, Kenny, and Michaela, all graduated from Kearney High School. So my roots are here in Kearney. But the other aspect of it is, in my day-to-day life, I work in the municipal government. And so I've got over 25 years of experience in municipal government. And so I see both sides of it. And in my normal day-to-day work, I deal with developers and construction. And so, with the new interchange, we're going to see lots of development. Mm-hmm. So I think that makes me the best candidate because I deal with it on a day-to-day basis, and we are going to see a lot of growth with the new interchange. So I think that's what makes me the best candidate.
So I'd like to ask a question. I'd like to do kind of, Mike sticks to the questions, and then I like to go astray and ask something. And if you think for 1 minute that makes him nervous, you should see Brian over there. Brian's sweating. He's like, oh, what's he going to say?
This is true.
So, Mike kind of touched on this. Over the last 10 years, we'll use 10 years, it's been really interesting because the growth of Kearney has been really pretty phenomenal. And there's another city that I'm not going to say the name, but it's just east of here, that was they were kind of neck and neck, Kearney and the other city. Mm-hmm. Almost said it.
You can mention it.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right.
Anyway, so, but what I think has been really interesting over that time is Kearney has exploded, and the other city really hasn't changed substantially at all.
Right.
And so my question is, as someone who's been with the city, as someone who's watched the city develop, and you tend to, Mike's absolutely correct, when you're there, you just, it grows so slowly, well, you know, that you don't really notice it, but when you look back, you're like, wow, why Kearney? Why has it exploded like it has when some other places maybe haven't?
Well, you know, I think the biggest reason why Kearney has grown is number one, our school district. We're highly accredited school district, but I think the other reason why Kearney has grown so much is we still have that small town feel. And yeah, we've got I-35 running right through the middle of us, and it essentially splits Kearney. But we keep that small town feel. And yeah, we've got some big name businesses coming to town, but we've still got that small town feel, and people want, we've got a really low crime rate. And it's more of a small town feel. And you're right, we've grown drastically. You know, the 2010 census, the town that I think you're referring to, we're right there neck and neck with them, where before we were behind them. And so some cases, some reports show us ahead of them. So.
Yeah. Well, and it's not just the population, it's the development of what you have as far as the activities you have, the businesses you have, the town seems to be keeping up. Everything's new, or it's up to date, or it's, you know, there's just things happening, including the football team. Hopefully.
This is true. All right. Well, listen, you're listening to David Lehman today on Kearney Live, and we're about ready to take a break here. Isn't that right, Brian? I knew that's going to happen because you told me that. Pay close attention to these sponsors because they are completely responsible for helping us put this program together. Thanks for being with us. Stay with us. We'll be right back with David Lehman.
Corporate underwriters of KPGZ programming include these fine businesses.
Simplify your banking, simplify your life. It's easy with Kearney Trust Company. Kearney Trust goes beyond convenient locations and good customer care to offer banking services that make managing your finances quicker and easier than ever before. Online, bill pay, e-statements, and mobile banking are available to give you a positive banking experience so you can get back to your life and activities. Kearney Trust also provides capital to people and businesses so they can achieve their goals. Whether you know exactly what you want or just need someone to talk to about your dream, you can speak with them and work on that dream. Kearney Trust Company is your partner for success with 2 convenient locations in Kearney at 310 West 92 Highway and 701 Watson Drive in Price Chopper. The phone is 816-628-6666. Kearney Trust Company. Banking you can trust. Member FDIC.
Electric cooperatives are different. We have a sense of pride in our local community and support the people who live here. That's why Platte Clay Electric Cooperative supports local schools, takes an active role in economic development, and works hard to keep costs down for its members. We exist for one purpose, to empower communities and energize life with safe and reliable energy. To learn more about how Platte Clay Electric Cooperative is working to achieve that mission, visit www.pcec.coop. Platte Clay Electric Cooperative.
You may have noticed your shoulder hurting, or maybe a kink in your neck. The culprit may be looking right at you. Your phone. Think about how you use it. Does that pain feel familiar to you?
Hi, I'm Dr. Mark Strathman with Kearney Family Chiropractic Center, and I've been practicing chiropractic health in Kearney for over 22 years. When you come to see me, I identify what's wrong and determine if I can help you. If I can, I create your personalized plan for relief.
When you have pain, you can make an appointment by calling 816-628-6738, or you can visit the office at 301 South Platte Clay Way, Suite B in Kearney. Kearney Family Chiropractic Center. Heal yourself.
And welcome back to Kearney Live. You are listening to Kearney Live. Jim Dickerson is my co-host to my right, and Brian Watts, the smartest man in Kearney.
Oh, come on.
Yes, this guy right here. He's the producer, engineer of this show. He makes all this happen. We walk in here, the lights are on, the mics are on, and everything happens. And all he does is push a few little sliders and a button here and there. And
I'm not 100% sure, but I think I heard a rumor that he has something to do with the job fair this afternoon.
Hey, now.
Yep, we got the job fair coming up this afternoon.
So where are you going to be this afternoon?
I'm going to be at the job fair.
Outstanding. You know what?
Are you looking for a job, Brian? Is that's what we're trying to figure out?
You know, maybe.
So, yeah, because if that happens.
I like the way he does it.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. Don't go.
Are you
don't go.
Mike, are you going to go over to the job fair?
Probably not. I am tending to my own job at home, which is
we heard about
a business and putting a new floor in my office, which we won't get into that.
No.
I'll go over it. I'll represent for you.
Okay, thank you, buddy. All right, we've got David Lehman in here. He is running, again, for Ward 2 City Alderman here in Kearney, Missouri, and because you are the incumbent.
Yep.
And we've been talking about an amazing list of things that have happened here in Kearney over the course of the last year and a half or so, a couple of years, because that's how long you've been in office.
Right.
And surprisingly, I mean, we have come out of, look, aren't we sick of talking about the pandemic? I mean, but yet, you talk about somebody throwing some roadblocks in front of you in anything, and anybody who's trying to do, if you're trying to go to a grocery store, the pandemic was a problem. I mean, so it affected everyone. So, I mean, to be able to look at, in retrospect, the things that you mentioned earlier that have been accomplished here in Kearney, I think is pretty remarkable. Given that, we've got this wonderful amphitheater that seems to be, and the best, I think the nicest way I can say it is it's underperforming. And it's such a nice facility. And I think it is set up to do some wonderful things for the city of Kearney. Do you have ideas how we can improve? Look, I mean, I could go through the numbers of last year, but I know it was tough. It was a tough year, tough couple of years. Yes, COVID probably had something to do with it. But as we look down the road, what are some things that, in your mind, that could be done to improve turnout for that beautiful facility?
Well, like you said, COVID really messed with the
everything,
concert series.
Sure.
And, we were lucky enough last year to be able to get in 3 concerts. I think there was actually 4. And, that really slowed down the expansion of the amphitheater. We had a benefit that was supposed to happen, and because of COVID, it didn't. And that benefit would have brought several hundred people, and it didn't happen. And so, I know our Parks Department with Ryan Marcotte and Eric Marshall, they do a great job of trying to get talent into the amphitheater. And, last year we focused on local talent or regional talent. We've had some big name talent. We've had Home Free, which is an a cappella group. They've been there 2 or 3 times. And so I think with 2022, hopefully being the year that we come out of COVID restrictions, I think we're going to see more acts at the amphitheater. We're starting to see a lot of different uses for Jesse James Park. We've got the Boy Scouts have actually used that park twice in the last 6 months for district events, and so we're starting to see a lot more use of Jesse James Park, and the amphitheater. I know there's a reunion group that has their reunion every fall. So we're going to start seeing more use of the amphitheater, and we don't sell seats, we sell spots in the grass, and so
it's hard to quantify a spot in the grass, and I'm not making a joke out of it, but but I think there's truth to that. I mean, in your estimation, or do you know off the top of your head? I mean, how many do you think could fit in that place comfortably?
Oh, an estimate probably 3,000-4,000.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah,
and we've had some big name groups there, and it was busy.
Right.
But I think the best thing for the viewers to understand is if they've got a group that they want, get a hold of Ryan and get a hold of Eric and at City Hall and let them know what group you want to see, whether it's country or a tribute band. They're going to do everything they can within the budget to get those groups. So.
You mentioned, and I just want to give a shout out to Ryan and Eric with the Parks Department, because no doubt about it. And we celebrated, and we were at the grand opening, the ribbon cutting of the splash pad this past summer.
Right.
And what a celebration that is. And so if you want to just look at an example of what these guys accomplished or helped accomplish with the help of, tons of other volunteers and folks that were involved in that project.
Absolutely.
You get a sense of what we are capable of doing here in Kearney. So there's something tells me that an infrastructure like the amphitheater is just waiting for the right acts, groups, plays, I mean, you name it,
right?
To bring in the complete 3,000 to 4,000 or so,
right?
During the summer, and that people wouldn't hesitate, and then they would mark a day on their calendar to say we're going to go do this thing.
Right.
Other cities are doing it. I know Gladstone has done a real nice job of doing musicals and blues festivals and things of that nature, and
right.
We've seen it happen. So I realize, there's potential there. Everybody just sort of, you scratch your head and you look at it, okay, I think we could do better, which I think that's true. And it sounds like some good guys are on it. A couple of weeks ago, we were talking with, it was some folks from the school board, from the school district, and in fact, there were some other candidates that we had in here. And at the same time, the question about Carney's growth, and you mentioned to it something about this earlier, about how we've managed to maintain our culture in the face of rapid growth, it seems.
Yes.
Let's talk a little bit about how we're preparing for the future, looking down the road, with the idea in mind that yes, we would like to hang on to this culture. I mean, to really embrace what we have now, and carry it through this growth, or as one guest called it, a metamorphosis of going from the one stoplight town to where we are now, where we could potentially go. And while you're talking about that, let's include law enforcement and emergency fire service and so forth. Let's kind of wrap all that up for me if you can.
Okay. So, I alluded to the use tax earlier. That use tax will allow us to hire 2 new officers. We're, for the first time in a long time, our police department is fully staffed. And Kearney, as well as a lot of other municipalities, have had trouble filling our positions as police officers. And so we've finally got our police department fully staffed, and now we're going to add 2 new officers, and so plus all the equipment and the cars and all that. So I think as far as the police department, that'll help them drastically in order to be able to help with the growth that we're going to experience. The fire department is a separate entity, separate from the city, but they actually have a ballot issue that's on the ballot. I think it's like a 15-cent tax levy that will help them manage the growth, so to speak. And there's been talk of them building a second fire station. The school district has a bond issue, a no tax increase bond issue. Part of that is to build a 5th elementary school.
Right.
And so, I think the main players in this with the city of Kearney, with the fire department, with the school district, we all know it's coming. And so we've looked ahead and we've tried to project. When I was on the school board, we were projecting clear out to 2020. Well, now it's 2022, and
it's in our rearview mirror.
It's in our rearview mirror, and so I really think that the current board of aldermen and the fire department, the board of directors, the school district, I think they have a good handle on what's about to hit us, but we still have. Growth's going to happen, and we have to be able to manage it. And so that's where my experience in municipal government helps out. And guys, we've got a great staff at the city with our community development director, David Pavlich. These guys are on top of it. They're top notch. And so, we had a development month or so ago that was brought before us, and so those things are going to happen, and they're going to happen in rapid sequence. And so I think the current board is ready for it. I think we're prepared for it, and I think the citizens of Kearney will be happy with managed growth.
We talked a little bit earlier about some of the cities surrounding Kearney and the growth that many of them are experiencing. I mean, Smithville, you can take a look at that, and
right.
A lot of the things going on around there. And I think the improvements along 169 Highway are going to be helpful for them. We look at Liberty. Everybody knows that Liberty, what they were and where they are. But I think as we grow in Kearney, as these other cities grow, you start to think about the competition that happens in that sort of thing.
Right.
The dynamic of cities that are relatively the same size, with of course Kearney or Liberty being a little bit larger.
Right.
And of course we're talking about Kansas City being right at our back door. But in any case, I think there are things that we'd like to see that you are certain would become destinations if they aren't already in Kearney. What are some of the things that you can think of either now or down the road that would make Kearney be more of a destination versus some of these other towns around us?
We've got a lot of tourist sites. We've got the Jesse James Farm. There's a lot of people that go to the Jesse James Farm. I constantly, when I drive by the cemetery across from where the school board building is, I constantly see people in that cemetery looking at Jesse James' grave. And we have Watkins Mill to our west. There's all the time seeing campers heading west, going to Watkins Mill. So we've got a lot of tourist attractions around us, and we want to be that place where they stay they come into town, they go to Watkins Mill, or they go to Jesse James farm, but they need a place to stay. And so we need to be that type of community. And, tourist attractions, they may come, but we don't want to be. I got to be careful because I have some friends on Liberty City Council, but we don't want to be Liberty.
Yeah.
We don't want to experience that unmanaged growth. So that managed growth has to be.
All right. Well, that is the basic questions. When we come back, we're going to get into the controversial stuff.
Oh, boy.
The stuff that's exciting. And no, I probably won't walk over and slap Mike, but maybe I will. Stay with us. You're watching Kearney Live.
Without the support of community underwriters, we wouldn't be here. So a huge thanks to these particular businesses for supporting KPGZ.
You value choices when it comes to the products and services you bring into your home. That's why Platte Clay Electric Cooperative gives you control over the energy you use. PCEC offers members ways to save with energy efficiency rebates and demand billing. You even have the power to choose the resources used to produce your power. To learn more, visit www.pcec.coop/power. Platte Clay Electric Cooperative. Your power, your way.
Migraine headaches, the throbbing in your temples, the pounding in your forehead, extreme sensitivity to light and sound. Your neck feels so tight it could snap off. Oh, the debilitating pain.
Hi, I'm Dr. Mark Strathman with Carney Family Chiropractic Center, and I've been practicing chiropractic health in Kearney for over 22 years. When you come to see me, I identify what's wrong and determine if I can help you. If I can, I create your personalized plan for relief.
When you have pain, you can make an appointment by calling 816-628-6738, or you can visit the office at 301 South Platte Clay Way, Suite B in Kearney. Kearney Family Chiropractic Center. Heal yourself.
Online banking at Kearney Trust Company gives you 24/7 access to your checking, savings, money markets, CDs, and loan accounts. You can access your accounts anytime from your home, office, and mobile devices. Online banking with Kearney Trust combines convenience and flexibility to bank on your own terms. Kearney Trust Company is a partner for success with 2 locations in Kearney at 310 West 92 Highway and 701 Watson Drive in Price Chopper. The phone is 816-628-6666. Kearney Trust Company. Banking you can trust. Member FDIC.
Make plans to attend the second annual Kearney Chamber of Commerce Hiring Fair on March 30th from 2:30 to 6 p.m. at the Kearney First United Methodist Church. Whether you're just entering the workforce, need a career change, or post-retirement part-time job, the hiring fair is loaded with opportunities from local businesses. This event is open to all job seekers. Professionals of all levels are highly encouraged to attend and participate. It's the second annual Kearney Chamber of Commerce Hiring Fair, March 30th from 2:30 to 6 p.m. at the Kearney First United Methodist Church, 1000 East 92 Highway in Kearney. The second annual Kearney Chamber of Commerce Hiring Fair. Let's get Kearney back to work.
Welcome back to Kearney Live. We are visiting today with David Lehman, and we were just talking a little bit off the air about thinking out of the box. And we had talked earlier about what can we do with the amphitheater? And it sort of led to some things that had happened and that you did over the course of just a couple of weeks ago, or a month or two ago, right? Or a couple of weeks?
Yeah, it would have been in February.
And what we're talking about is a Klondike Derby that the Boy Scouts put together. And tell us about that, about how that unfolded.
Sure. So the Klondike Derby is an event that's usually held January, February by what's called Scouts BSA now. And this is the first year it's been held at Jesse James Park. And it was a huge success. And the biggest reason why it was such a huge success is, one, Kearney is almost perfectly in the center of our district. But the other thing that the Board of Aldermen did is for the first time, we allowed overnight camping. We're not talking about RVs. We're talking about tents, Boy Scouts, Scouts BSA, in tents. And it was a great event. There was probably 1,000, maybe during the day, 1,500 people there. And these kids were having a blast. And so I've talked to other district people, and they're hoping to come back in the 2023. And their hope is to be able to use the amphitheater in 2023 for their hub of all the activities. And so that ties back into new uses for the amphitheater, and this is in February, so this board does think outside the box. And so we have to be progressive, but we have to still maintain our hometown feel.
Man, I love the sound of that. Do you, kind of moving along with our questions, do you ever get the sense that the people of Kearney are not getting enough information about what's going on with the city, that they, for whatever reason, either they're not looking in the right places or we're not getting the news out to them, or either way,
right?
There are folks that we hear from time to time that say, well, we didn't know about that. How come you didn't tell us? We talk about that for a little bit.
So there are several different ways to get information. You get a water bill every month, and there's always information on the back of the water bill. But the City of Kearney's website just got revamped by one of our own staff, Ryan Marcotte, and it's great, and it's very user friendly, and there's all kinds of information on there, and it's right there in front of you. But the other thing that I think would help is, and the mayor and I have talked about this, is possibly having a town hall meeting type thing, informational meetings. What's going on, and so we've talked about that, and so maybe that happens coming up. Maybe we start to have the town hall meetings. But the other aspect of it is if every one of the aldermen have a email address, we're open. We're out there. We're open to talk to anybody. If you see me on the street, now that you know what I look like, don't hesitate to talk to me in the grocery store, or talk to me at one of the restaurants. I ain't got nothing to hide.
Yeah, I'm going to play devil's advocate here, because that's what I do. Brian is sweating over there. So, as it relates to giving out information, there is this certain demographic of people, and I'm not sure I understand this. No matter what you do, they won't hear it, see it, or whatever else. You could, they're like, well, I didn't hear about this. And short of calling everybody at home, and then they wouldn't answer the phone, and you'd leave a voicemail, and they go, I never got that.
How do you know this, Jim?
So there.
I know. I wanted you to
honestly,
say it because we get those kinds of calls.
We do.
We see that. Yes,
we've literally had things like a football game, which is every Friday, and blah blah blah, and someone will go, "I didn't know that." I'm like, "Come on." I mean, what are we supposed to do?
Embellishment. That's an embellishment. But you know what he's saying.
But yeah, there are always people, and it's not just here. It's across the country. There will be some big event, and people will be like, "I didn't hear anything about that." And I'm like, "What?" And you mentioned the water bill. In my water bill, honestly, I get that stuff. I don't read it. I throw it away because I don't.
I would agree.
I have no idea what it might have said. I just won $20 million, and I just threw it away because you just don't. But my point is, I think as a citizen of a community, you have a little bit of a responsibility of your own to go look and see if you're interested in something. Go look it up and see what you want to do.
Right.
I do it all the time. Type in events in Kearney or events whatever just to see what's going on. That's that. We're going to run short on time, and we got to get some controversial.
Okay, but I would also say that. And listen, this is too obvious of an opportunity to plug the radio station, but we are here for that very reason. It's one of the reasons we set up shop right here in Kearney, Missouri, that we want to be your source of information, and we're here. And if you have a news item, certainly, and we get all of the news items from the city, and they send us news releases, and we try to get it out there as quickly as we can.
Sure.
Jim, anything burning? Go ahead.
We've got to cover this.
Okay,
there is a huge problem, and it's snow blindness in cats. No, that's wrong.
I thought you were in a hurry.
What's up with the chickens?
Well, chicken.
I didn't realize this was a huge problem, and then a couple of weeks ago it came up that
it hasn't become a problem yet.
It apparently is a problem, and I got scolded because I didn't know about the chicken problem. Please tell us about the chicken problem.
Well, I think chickens, since the pandemic, people have wanted to become more self-sustaining. And so chickens and eggs are one way that they can get their own product. But, quite honestly, there's communities around us that allow chickens. I've worked for 3 different municipalities that allow chickens. If they're regulated correctly, if the city has a permit for it and it's enforced, chickens aren't really a bad thing as long as, of course, we've got HOAs out there too, homeowners associations, and a lot of those don't allow chickens, and so the Board of Aldermen have talked about chickens. In fact, just last meeting, we talked about chickens. And so the city staff is looking at that and the best way to handle it.
Can't believe we're talking about chickens.
So now let's clarify, we're not talking about roosters.
Yeah, but so
that makes a big difference.
It does. But here's and I'm going to catch hate mail for this. I know it's coming, but from somebody who grew up on a farm, and we had chickens. Let me just say the number of chickens that you have to make it a profitable or a money-saving thing is pretty large. So if you think you're going to put 3 chickens in your backyard and have eggs, you got to feed the chickens.
Right.
Just going to throw that out there. And then every now and then you're going to have an issue with the chickens, and then someone's going to get in your chicken coop.
Coyotes.
Fox, coyote, squirrel, hawk, pheasant, whatever.
It's true.
It's just it is not as easy as it sounds. So if you think you're going to go out and get 4 chickens and all is going to be right with the world,
there's a charm that seems to be attached to it.
Right.
I think.
So there has to be a limit.
It's different than people want to go out in their backyard and they have a little garden and they grow tomatoes and different. You don't have to go out and feed your tomato every day. If it it's a whole thing. So.
Feed the tomato.
Mike, over to you.
All right, we've got a couple of minutes left here, maybe a minute or so, and we've been visiting with David Lehman. He's the Kearney Alderman for Ward 2, the incumbent, and you're running again for a lot of good reasons. Give us your best shot. This is your opportunity, your platform to say why you should be reelected.
Well, as I alluded to earlier, the current board has accomplished a lot, and we need to continue that. The town's going to grow, whether I'm on the board or anybody else, but we have to be able to manage that growth. And we've done great things in the last 2 years, and nobody wants to see the town go backwards. And with Kearney, if we go backwards, then we're going to wind up in issues. And so I think I'm the best candidate because I've been on there for 2 years, and I know the backside of what's been going on. So it makes me the best candidate because I'm immersed in what has happened in the last 2 years. And so if the people vote for me, it'll be we'll move on like we have for the last 2 years. So it's critical with Kearney growing like it is that we continue to move forward. So.
Well said, well done. David Lehman is the Ward 2 Alderman from right here in Kearney, Missouri, and appreciate you being with us, David.
I appreciate
Thanks
being
so
here.
much. Next week, we will not be having a live Kearney Live. We'll have a best of because we've got a chamber meeting, right? A luncheon where, lunch is free. No, it's not. It's never free, and you know why I'm saying that.
Forget. Join us at 2:30 today from 2:30 to 6 over at the United Methodist Church for the job fair. Brian and I will be over there. Brian, I just found out, is going to be signing autographs. Awesome. I know I'm going to get mine. I've got a picture with me and him together, him and I together, the two of us together.
They'll be bringing their chicken, their pet chicken.
Are they going to have large talons?
Yes, they will. Thanks so much for being with us. You've been listening to Kearney Live. We'll see you in a couple weeks.